In the corporate world, the higher you climb, the fewer people will tell you the truth. Your team will filter the news, especially the bad news. Your peers will become your competitors. Your boss expects solutions and not for you to come with the problems. And suddenly, you are leading in an information vacuum, and everyone expects you to know what's happening. But you don't, and that's dangerous and exhausting. Today, I want to talk about why this happens, what does data show, and how to protect yourself from this leadership trap. Let's jump in. As you rise, the flow of honest feedback drops sharply. Harvard Business Review found that 69% of managers report that the biggest blind spot is not knowing what employees really think. Gartner's 2024 workplace study revealed that only 27% of the employees feel safe sharing difficult truths with their boss. The Gallup State of the Workforce report shows that only 1 in 5 employees feel comfortable speaking up about mistakes. Why? Because silence feels safer than honesty. Employees think, is it okay for me to share the bad news and then get penalized for that? It feels safer not to be bold, and sometimes they say what you want to hear, which is even more dangerous. The tragic part, as you grow up as leaders in the chain, the more power you have and the less knowledge you have. This is what is called as the leadership truth gap. The higher you go, the less you know. It reminds me of the Nokia story. All of you heard of that. They at one time had 49% market share in the mobile phone market, and all their engineers knew that the software they had was a little old. There was something new which was coming, which was the smartphones, and they needed to move. They had prototypes. In an internal study, after Nokia collapsed, they found that employees knew the truth but were afraid to inform their leaders. And what was the result? The market share collapsed from 49% to 3%. It was not that the leaders were incompetent, they were blind. Remember the Boeing 737 MAX crisis? It's the same story. Employees and engineers knew about the issues. One employee wrote, the airplane is designed by clowns and supervised by monkeys. Strong words, but the leadership didn't listen. They weren't aware. And the cost? Nearly 20 billion in losses. And here's a story closer to home for me. A senior manager in an European company confessed in a survey, I learned about most issues from my customers and not from my own people. He wasn't a bad guy. He just assumed that transparency would continue as he grew up in the corporate ladder. But it didn't. Let's understand why people don't share news, especially the bad news. The first reason is power distorts communication. A study from Columbia University found that people overestimate how approachable senior leaders are by over 40%. Employees think you're busy, important, or just too senior. The second, and you may not notice the second biggest reason, is your peers become your rivals as you grow up. At mid to senior levels, 59% of the managers say peers withhold information to maintain competitive advantage. And the third reason is because bosses don't want to hear issues and bad news. They communicate that they want solutions, they want results. This is quite dangerous because then people start saying what you want to hear. You work in a vacuum, you get trapped in an illusion of knowledge. Let's quickly look at what are the consequences of going blind like this, of lack of knowledge. One obviously is poor decision because you're working on partial data. Declining team trust. The team knows more about what's happening at the ground than what you know. So there is this gap and they stop trusting you. And of course, leadership burnout because you are trying to imagine knowledge that you don't have about what's really happening on the ground. And this is more so for young professionals who are moving into leadership roles. So please be more careful about this. So here's my recommendation of what you should be doing. Leaders who survive this trap do these following things. Say this regularly. Pull the truth towards you by saying regularly that bring me the bad news first. I want to listen to bad news. Keep telling your teams that. Keep telling people that. I need the truth early. Repeat it as much times as you can. In a 2023 Google People Analytics study, managers who asked specifically for bad news were 3.5 times more trusted. Second, reward honesty publicly. When someone shares a tough truth, thank them publicly. Act on it. Let this team see that honesty is rewarded. It's never penalized, even if it's bad news. Because when you start doing this, becomes the culture of the team. Third, keep going to the front line. Keep going. If you are leading a business, keep going and meeting customers, the partners. Go with the sales guy, go with the technicians who meet customers and frontline teams directly. Make 25% better decisions. MIT Sloan. Do skip level meetings, random conversations, meet up over lunch or coffee. Do regular check ins. Truth lives at the bottom, not at the top. You need to really make an effort at building trusted peer group, not competitive peers. And how do you do that? Share information first, offer help first. Collaboration is a magnet. People respond in kind. And lastly, tell your boss the truth too. Tell him the bad news first too. Senior leaders appreciate clarity. Your courage and your honesty will become your brand. The higher you climb, the less people will be sharing information with you. That's natural. But the best leaders don't wait for the truth. They pull it, they protect it, they reward it. You don't need to know everything. You just need to make sure nothing important is hidden. That's real leadership. And if you master this very early in your career, you'll rise faster and you'll stay there longer. Till next week, stay unstoppable.